Every year, millions of people spread Nutella on toast without ever asking a simple question. What is it actually made of? Most people assume the answer is chocolate. Lots of chocolate. But the reality is far more surprising. Nutella contains only about 7% cocoa. 7%. Yet it has become one of the most recognizable food products on Earth. How is that possible? Today, we are going inside the factories, farms, and production lines behind one of the world's most famous spreads. From giant hazelnut plantations to automated filling lines producing thousands of jars every hour, this is the story of how Nutella is really made. The story begins decades ago in northern Italy. After World War II, cocoa was expensive and difficult to obtain. Chocolate was considered a luxury. Italian confectioners needed an alternative. One ingredient was abundant: hazelnuts. Local producers began mixing ground hazelnuts with sugar and small amounts of cocoa. The result was a sweet spread unlike anything that existed before. What began as a solution to a shortage would eventually become a global phenomenon. Today, Nutella is sold in more than 160 countries. Millions of jars leave factories every year. But before a single jar can be filled, the journey begins thousands of kilometers away, in the hazelnut orchards. The hazelnut is the heart of Nutella. Without it, the spread would not exist. Growing premium hazelnuts requires specific conditions: mild winters, warm summers, and well-drained soil. The world's largest hazelnut-producing region is located along the Black Sea coast of Turkey. Additional supplies come from Italy and the United States. Together, these regions produce most of the hazelnuts used in Nutella. The process begins years before the first harvest. Young plants are cultivated in specialized nurseries. Only the strongest and healthiest specimens are selected. They are carefully transplanted into vast orchards. Then the waiting begins. Hazelnut trees require patience. Several years pass before they produce significant yields. Eventually, the trees reach maturity. Clusters of hazelnuts begin forming beneath dense green leaves, protected by hard outer shells. Each hazelnut spends months developing, slowly accumulating oils, flavor compounds, and nutrients. Everything depends on weather, rainfall, temperature, sunlight. A single season can influence the flavor of an entire harvest. When autumn arrives, the orchards come alive. Massive harvesting machines move between the rows. Their job is simple: collect every mature nut. Powerful mechanical systems shake the trees. Thousands of hazelnuts fall to the ground. Specialized collection machines follow behind, gathering the nuts with astonishing efficiency. What once required hundreds of workers can now be completed by a handful of operators and machines. Tons of hazelnuts are harvested every hour. The journey has only just begun. The freshly harvested nuts still contain moisture, too much moisture. Left untreated, mold and spoilage would quickly appear. Large drying facilities remove excess water using carefully controlled streams of warm air. The drying process preserves quality while preparing the nuts for long-term storage. Once dried, the hazelnuts enter one of the most important stages: selection. Not every hazelnut is good enough for Nutella. Advanced sorting systems inspect thousands of nuts every minute. Size, color, density, shape, every detail matters. Optical scanners identify imperfections instantly. Damaged nuts are rejected. Only the highest quality hazelnuts continue forward. Millions of consumers expect the same flavor every time they jar. Consistency begins here, with selection. Soon, the chosen hazelnuts begin their transformation. Huge roasting drums slowly rotate while temperatures climb. Inside, thousands of kilograms of hazelnuts tumble continuously. The heat awakens something hidden inside every nut: natural oils, aromatic compounds, flavor. The entire facility fills with the smell of roasting hazelnuts. This is the aroma most people unknowingly associate with Nutella. The roasting process must be perfect. Too little heat and the flavor remains weak. Too much and bitterness develops. Every second matters. Every degree matters. Once roasting is complete, the nuts move to the next stage, removing the skin. Powerful friction systems gently rub the hazelnuts against specialized surfaces. The thin outer skin separates, leaving behind clean, golden kernels, ready for milling. The roasted hazelnuts enter industrial grinders. Massive machines crush them into smaller and smaller particles. The transformation is dramatic. Solid nuts disappear. A thick, smooth paste emerges, rich in natural oils, dense, creamy, aromatic. This is hazelnut paste, the true foundation of Nutella. But before it can be mixed with other ingredients, it undergoes another purification stage. Filtration systems remove unwanted particles, creating an exceptionally smooth texture. Everything must be perfect. Soon, this paste will meet the ingredient most people associate with Nutella, cocoa. And that is where the next chapter begins. The hazelnut paste is ready, smooth, golden, packed with flavor. But Nutella is not made from hazelnuts alone. The next ingredient is one of the most misunderstood parts of the recipe, cocoa. Most people assume Nutella is primarily chocolate. It is not. In fact, cocoa represents only a small percentage of the final product. Yet without it, Nutella would lose its unmistakable identity. The journey begins thousands of kilometers away in cocoa-growing regions across West Africa and South America. Here, cocoa trees produce colorful pods hanging directly from their trunks. Inside each pod are dozens of cocoa beans, the raw material behind chocolate itself. Once harvested, the beans undergo fermentation, a crucial step that develops their flavor. Without fermentation, cocoa tastes bitter and flat. The beans are then dried under the sun before beginning their journey to processing facilities around the world. When they arrive at the factory, the first step is cleaning. Dust, plant debris, foreign materials, everything must be removed. Only pure cocoa beans move forward. Next comes roasting. Massive industrial roasters heat thousands of kilograms of cocoa beans at carefully controlled temperatures. Inside the drums, chemistry takes over. Complex flavor compounds develop, bitterness softens, chocolate aromas emerge. The transformation is dramatic. The smell alone fills entire buildings. After roasting, the beans are cracked. Their shells are removed. What remains are small fragments known as cocoa nibs, the pure heart of the cocoa bean. The nibs enter powerful grinders, slowly transforming into a thick, dark paste, known as cocoa liquor. Despite the name, it contains no alcohol, only concentrated cocoa solids and cocoa butter. The liquor is then pressed. Enormous hydraulic systems squeeze out much of the natural cocoa fat. The extracted cocoa butter is used in countless chocolate products. What remains is compressed into solid cakes. These cakes are ground into an ultra-fine cocoa powder, the same cocoa powder used to help create Nutella's distinctive flavor. But cocoa alone cannot create the famous spread. Several other ingredients play an even bigger role, and one of them surprises almost everyone: sugar. A lot of sugar. In fact, sugar makes up more than half of the final recipe. Special, ultra-fine sugar is selected for production. Its particles are significantly smaller than ordinary table sugar. This allows it to dissolve more evenly, creating the smooth texture consumers expect. The sugar arrives in enormous quantities, tons every day, stored in giant silos that tower above the factory floor. From there, automated systems deliver precise amounts into the production line. No guesswork, no manual measurements, everything controlled by computer. Another essential ingredient is skimmed milk powder. Fresh milk is first pasteurized, then concentrated, then dried using atomization systems. The liquid is transformed into a fine powder, stable, consistent, easy to store. The milk powder contributes creaminess, balance, and a softer flavor profile, helping counter the intensity of both cocoa and roasted hazelnuts. Then comes one of the most debated ingredients in Nutella, palm oil. Despite the controversy surrounding it, palm oil plays a critical role in the product. Without it, Nutella would not have its signature texture. The oil helps create smoothness, spreadability, and long-term stability, allowing Nutella to remain creamy without refrigeration. Before entering production, the oil undergoes extensive refining, removing unwanted odors and impurities, ensuring consistent quality in every batch. Now the stage is set. The ingredients are ready: hazelnut paste, cocoa powder, sugar, milk powder, palm oil. 5 ingredients, 1 recipe. A formula that has remained remarkably consistent for decades. Inside massive stainless steel mixing tanks, the process begins. Thousands of kilograms of ingredients enter in a carefully controlled sequence. Every quantity is measured automatically, every stage monitored continuously. First comes the hazelnut paste, then sugar. The mixture begins to move. Large industrial mixers rotate slowly, combining the ingredients into a thick base. Next comes cocoa. The dark powder disappears into the swirling mixture. Almost instantly, the color begins to change. The aroma becomes unmistakable. Chocolate, hazelnuts, sweetness. The scent that millions recognize instantly. Milk powder follows, then palm oil. The texture begins transforming. What was once a dense mixture slowly becomes smoother, creamier, more fluid. But the process is far from finished. The mixture still contains microscopic particles, tiny inconsistencies invisible to the human eye. For Nutella, that is unacceptable. The product enters a refining system, one of the most important stages in the entire factory. Powerful rollers reduce particle sizes even further. Again and again, smaller, smoother, finer. The goal is perfection, a texture so smooth it feels almost silky. Every spoonful must feel identical. Every jar must deliver the same experience. Day after day, year after year. Once refining is complete, the spread passes through a final quality control stage. Samples are collected, viscosity is measured, texture is analyzed, flavor is verified. Nothing leaves the factory without approval. Only then is the product ready for the final stage, the one consumers actually see: packaging. And that is where millions of jars begin their journey around the world. The Nutella is ready, smooth, creamy, perfectly refined. After hours of processing, thousands of kilograms of spread wait inside insulated holding tanks. But before a single jar can be filled, one final series of tests must be completed. Inside the quality control laboratory, technicians inspect samples taken from every production batch. Texture, color, viscosity, flavor. Everything is measured, everything is verified. The goal is simple. A jar produced today must taste exactly the same as a jar produced 6 months from now. Consistency is everything. Special instruments analyze particle size. Even microscopic variations can affect the way Nutella feels on the tongue. Too coarse, and the texture becomes grainy. Too fine, and the product behaves differently during storage. Every parameter must remain within an incredibly narrow range. Only then does the batch receive approval. Now the filling lines come to life. Thousands of empty jars move across conveyor belts at high speed. Glass jars arrive first, cleaned, inspected, ready for filling. The production floor stretches for hundreds of meters. Machines move in perfect synchronization. The Nutella flows through stainless steel pipelines toward the filling stations. A continuous river of chocolate hazelnut spread, warm enough to flow smoothly, carefully controlled to maintain its texture. Precision filling nozzles descend. In a fraction of a second, each jar receives its exact portion. Not too much, not too little. Every gram matters. Thousands of jars are filled every hour. The process never slows down. Every jar passes beneath optical sensors. The machines inspect the fill level instantly. If even a small deviation is detected, the jar is automatically removed from the line. Nothing imperfect continues forward. The filled jars move toward the sealing station. Plastic lids are applied automatically. Powerful systems tighten each lid with precise force. Too loose, and freshness could be compromised. Too tight, and the consumer experience suffers. Every detail is engineered, every movement calculated. Next comes labeling, one of the most recognizable labels in the world. High-speed machines apply thousands of labels every hour. Perfect alignment, perfect positioning. Every jar must look identical. Consumers may never notice, but the factory notices everything. Another inspection follows. Cameras scan every jar from multiple angles, checking labels, checking lids, checking fill levels, checking for defects invisible to the human eye. The standards are relentless, because once the product leaves the factory, there are no second chances. Approved jars continue toward packaging. Robotic arms take over, grouping jars into cartons, stacking cartons onto pallets, wrapping pallets for transport. The operation resembles a giant automated choreography, machines moving with millimeter precision, day and night, without interruption, without mistakes. Soon, entire pallets begin their journey across the globe. Warehouses, distribution centers, supermarkets, convenience stores, millions of destinations, millions of customers. Every year, enormous quantities of Nutella travel across oceans and continents, from Europe to North America, from Asia to South America. The scale is almost impossible to imagine, yet most consumers see only a single jar sitting on a shelf. What they do not see is the global network behind it, the hazelnut orchards, the cocoa farms, the processing plants, the laboratories, the engineers, the logistics systems, thousands of people working together to create one product. Eventually, the journey reaches its final destination, a supermarket shelf. A customer reaches for a jar, places it in a shopping cart, and takes it home. The lid, the familiar aroma escapes for the first time. Sweet, nutty, chocolatey, instantly recognizable. A knife spreads the Nutella across warm toast. The texture is flawless, smooth, creamy, effortless, the result of decades of engineering and refinement. And now we arrive back at the question that started this journey. Most people believe Nutella is primarily chocolate, but the reality is very different. Only a small percentage comes from cocoa. The true star of the recipe is the hazelnut. Combined with sugar, milk, and carefully engineered processing techniques, together they create a flavor recognized around the world. What began as a solution to a cocoa shortage became one of the most successful food products ever created. A simple idea, transformed into a global icon. From orchards and cocoa farms to giant industrial mixers to billions of breakfasts around the world. The story of Nutella is not just a story about food, it's a story about innovation, precision, scale, and transformation. Because behind every spoonful lies a process most people will never see. And now, you know exactly what's really inside Nutella.